Yo, what's up guys, it's Rob, and today we're going to be looking at the Fantech XD3 wireless. This was sent out by Fantech, so huge shout out to them. I really appreciate it, but it will not affect the review in any way. So this is a wireless $60 mouse with the shape being inspired by the Zowie S2. It is just a tad bit shorter than the S2. It weighs in at 83 grams and it has the 3335 sensor. But before I go any further, I just want to let you all know I have added this mouse to my mouse review sheet. Link to that is down in the description. I add every single mouse I review to that sheet. And I will also include gameplay at the end of this video that I got with this mouse, so stick around for that. So like I said before, the mouse is wireless and it does use a USB-C cable and or port. The liftoff distance can't be changed, but it is low, which is always a good thing, and the battery life is rated at 70 hours. When I was testing the mouse, I didn't have to charge the mouse until like the 5th day of me using it, which I think is great. I was using the mouse at 1000 Hz with RGB off, so keep that in mind. So like I said earlier, the shape of this mouse is inspired by the Zowie S2. The dimensions are very similar, and the only main difference is that this mouse is just 1mm shorter than the Zowie S2. Here they are side by side. They are very much alike. There isn't much of a difference between them. They are very similar. And one of the main differences that I did notice with the mice is that the hump in the back on the XD3 kind of feels like it fills my hand more than the Zowie S2 does. I'm not quite sure why. Maybe the hump is pushed back a little further, or the hump is just a tad bit higher. But yeah, that's kind of the main difference that I feel. Other than that, the mice feel very similar in hand. And when I try to palm grip this mouse, it doesn't really feel all that comfortable. I am able to palm if I just curl my fingers on mouse 1 and mouse 2 just a tad bit. Otherwise, they would kind of overlap. I'd still be able to do it, but it just really isn't all that comfortable of a grip with this mouse because of the hump. Since it's more towards the back, you kind of feel like a huge hill is right in the middle or in the back of the mouse that you have to get over, and your fingers kind of just drop down, and it's not the most comfortable. So I wouldn't really recommend it if you're trying to palm grip this mouse. And for claw grip is my main grip style. It is the grip style that I use with every single mouse that I use. And well, I really think that this shape, and of course the Zowie S2 shape, is pretty much perfect for claw grip. It feels very natural and very comfortable. And at my hand size, I'm able to use this grip really comfortably. I don't really know what else to say other than that, because claw grip just feels really good with this mouse. And now for a fingertip grip. When I try to fingertip this mouse, my palm ends up touching the back and the hump of the mouse. This is mainly because the hump is pushed back, of course. And if I'm only trying to grip the mouse with my fingertips, then it wouldn't be possible unless I push the mouse forward and I grip the mouse from further back. Then I am able to fingertip this mouse, but just keep in mind that you'll be having to push down on mouse 1 and mouse 2 like further back right here next to the DPI button. So fingertip grip is possible if you do that. But yeah, I really do think this shape is perfect for claw grip. So now for the coating of the mouse. The top shell and mouse 1 and mouse 2 have a different coating compared to the sides of the mouse. The mouse 1 and mouse 2 and top shell are very grippy, and they feel really good in hand even when my hands get sweaty. The coating is very consistent, and I never felt any type of slipperiness or anything like that. The coating remained very grippy, and I kind of wish it was the same on the sides of the mouse, because the sides of the mouse feel more sleek, and when my hands get sweaty, it ends up feeling a bit slippery, which is quite unfortunate. I don't know why they just wouldn't put the same coating on the entire mouse. It's pretty weird, but I think the most important part for the coating would be mouse 1, mouse 2, and the top shell, since that is where most of your hand will touch. But of course, the sides of the mouse are still very important. Just keep in mind that for me, my experience, I have very clammy and sweaty hands, and well, it felt slippery on the sides of the mouse, but not the top shell and mouse 1 and mouse 2. So now for the mouse feet. The mouse feet gave me an average glide in terms of speed when compared to other mice. The mouse feet weren't too fast or too slow, it just seemed about average. And I did get a smooth glide on my GameSense Radar mousepad and my Artisan Hind. the GameSense radar being a soft surface and my Artisan Hind being a rough surface. And well, I got a smooth glide regardless of which pad I was on, which was pretty surprising to me. I didn't get any scratchiness or anything like that from these mouse feet. And well, the only reason I was surprised that the mouse feet performed this well is because I have seen other people complain about the mouse feet being pretty bad, but that just wasn't the experience I got from them. And well, if you do want an even smoother and faster glide, I would recommend getting aftermarket skates for this mouse. And now for mouse 1 and mouse 2. The switches on this mouse are Huano switches that are rated at 50 million clicks. And these switches are really, really nice. They are extremely satisfying to press. And they are just super crisp and snappy. These switches are definitely some of my favorite. They are just so satisfying to press. I do get some minimal side play on mouse 1 and mouse 2, but this was not felt when playing in game and it didn't bother me at all. And also very minimal post and pre-travel on mouse 1 and mouse 2. Once again, nothing that I could feel in game and it didn't bother me. The actuation force required to press down on mouse 1 seems to be above average. These are not the most sensitive clicks, so definitely keep this in mind. If you do like heavier clicks, like myself, you will like these clicks, but just keep in mind that these are pretty heavy, and well, if you like sensitive clicks, then you might not like these clicks all that much. But yeah, overall, very satisfying and crisp mouse 1 and mouse 2. And now for the side buttons of this mouse. The side buttons of this mouse are not satisfying to press at all. This might be because there's a ton of post travel. You can push the side buttons pretty far into the mouse, which is quite unfortunate. And also the side buttons don't sound all that great. They sound pretty dull and don't have like a satisfying click or anything like that. And also, depending on how hard you grip the mouse, you can actuate the side buttons from pushing the side of the mouse, which is of course not good at all, and it doesn't really require all that much force either. So just keep this in mind. If you do end up gripping your mouse pretty hard, then just be aware of this, because you might end up actuating either of the side buttons from pressing or just gripping the mouse. But this never happened to me. I don't grip the mouse all that hard, so it shouldn't be an issue unless you have some sort of gorilla grip. And now for the scroll wheel of this mouse. The scroll wheel is pretty quiet when scrolling up or scrolling down, even when I try to scroll up pretty fast. And also when scrolling slowly, the scroll wheel feels very tactile, but when I start to scroll faster, you lose some of the tactility that you feel. Obviously, of course, it's still tactile, but it just feels less when scrolling faster than when you scroll slow. I never accidentally press down on middle mouse button when scrolling up or down, and I never accidentally scroll down when pressing down on middle mouse button. And also, pressing down on middle mouse button requires average force when compared to other scroll wheels. It's not too light or too heavy. I never accidentally actuated middle mouse button, which is of course always a good thing. And overall, a very solid scroll wheel that I didn't have any issues with. Oh, and also, you can actuate the scroll wheel from the mouse 1 side by pressing on the side, but you cannot actuate the scroll wheel from pressing on mouse 2 side. So just keep this in mind. And now for the build quality of this mouse. The build quality feels very solid and of very high quality. When shaking the mouse, I get no rattle whatsoever. I also don't get any creaking or anything like that. It barely even flexes, if at all. The only build quality issue that I have would be that when you do grip the mouse very hard or just press down on the sides, you do end up actuating the side button, which is quite a bummer. But honestly, I don't think it's that big of a deal if you have just a normal grip, because this never affected me in-game, and I didn't really even notice that it could happen until I tried to stress test the mouse. But just keep in mind, if you do grip your mouse very tightly, just be sure you are aware of this. But other than that, the build quality is exceptional, and it does feel of very high quality. So would I recommend this mouse? Yes, I definitely would. At $60, I think this is an amazing S2 inspired wireless mouse. I know it does have the 3335 sensor, but I have honestly, from my experience of testing a ton of mice with the 3335, I've never had a single issue with that sensor. And the same thing can be said with this mouse. I didn't have a single issue with the sensor while using this mouse. I honestly do like this much more than the Ponage Ultra Custom Symmetrical, and the Ponage Ultra Custom Symmetrical is more expensive. This is obviously cheaper, and it just feels better. So if you are looking to try the S2 shape, which is just a bit shorter, and well, wireless of course, then I would recommend this mouse over the Ponage Ultra Custom Sim because of course it is cheaper, but there really aren't any glaring issues that this mouse has, and it performed really well. Overall, a very solid wireless mouse for $60. And well, I just wanted to point out the issues that I did have with it, which are the side buttons actuating when you press down on the sides of the mouse. Also, the side buttons feeling kind of mushy and not very satisfying to press, with a ton of post travel as well. And well, I've heard a lot of people have issues with the mouse feet. This wasn't something that I experienced, but just keep in mind that this can be something that happens to you. The sides of the mouse were a bit slippery when my hands got sweaty, but the top shell did feel amazing. And also the clicks from mouse 1 and mouse 2 are pretty heavy, so keep this in mind as well if you are choosing to buy this mouse. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching the video. I really appreciate it, guys, and I'll see you all later. Bye!
Only one, and I can travel. Because it's not that kind of felony. Sorry, Pooh. Gotta read up on your laws.
The round. Action. One. Fight.
Oh god. Oh my god.